All right. Hey guys, Sam, looks like we're out going on live here. So just want to reach out to you. Let's see what happens here. It might give a second or two. I'm going to go online and see if we're actually streaming.
Okay.
Okay, give it a couple of seconds here. So I guess what we wanted to do for the folks who are using Laser and who joined the channel, this is kind of the first time we're actually going through this. It's a kind of a maiden voyage for us. The thought was to answer a lot of the questions that folks have with regards to Laser Classic and Laser X or any of the software applications that we have today that you're able to use. So rather than having folks feel like they're by themselves, having to answer one thing by themselves or ask the question one at a time, we figured we'd go ahead and take a look at back a week or even earlier to hit some of the top questions that we usually get asked on Laser when it comes to the applications. So this morning you have Sam. Sam, do you want to say hi to everybody?
Hey, everybody.
And Sam's the operations manager, and often when you get to call into customer support, you'll either get to talk to Sam or myself. My name's Ben, or Kathy. She'll pick up some of the tickets from time to time, and she's actually online right now, but she'll be throwing up some questions on the board. So this is just the first time again, and we're going to do it for about 30 minutes. And if things kick off and get a lot more involved, we might expand it to actually a whole hour. And the plan is in the future, we're going to ask some of the instructors who are actually using Laser, whether it's Laser X or Laser Classic, to do a quick showcase of a drill that they're doing with their students using for DryFire, whether it's Laser Classic or Laser X, or even just a DryFire drill that's good for everybody. We're going to start asking them to come on board because there are quite a few of them who are actually out there using the software to do training with their students and actually help their students develop a lot of their marksmanship skills. So let's do this. Sam, I know you got a lot of favorite questions that you get hit up with on customer support.
Sure.
Let's see if Kathy can. Kathy, do you want to throw up one of the most frequently asked questions that we have from time to time with the customers? Let's see if she can hear us. There we go. Sam, so one of the big questions, and we don't have anybody's name tagged to this because it comes from all sorts of folks, is how do I log in or access the app? And I assume by saying access the app, they're asking about Laser X, but if you want to, you can also go into Laser Classic as well.
Sure. Yeah. So, to avoid confusion, I think we'll stick with the what this question is assuming in regards to Laser X. When you go to access Laser X is our web-based application that runs on a multitude of platforms. It's not going to be specific to a certain operating system, much like Laser Classic is, which is Windows only. So Laser X is going to run on Windows, Apple, Android, Mac OS X, things like that. So, and it's accessed through our website. So when you go to our website, and I can go ahead and
I'll go and kick it on there, Sam, if you want to keep on going.
Okay.
I'll go and kick it on.
So you can go to our website, and the easiest way to explain it is when you go to laserapp.com, you're going to see the blue and orange website. And then up in the top right-hand corner, you're going to see a LaserX login button. That is where you would go to log in every single time. What I do recommend a lot of people do is once they're logged into the software, would be to go ahead and bookmark that within their browser. However, that browser dictates you bookmark it. It just makes it a lot easier to come back and visit that every single time. When you go to log into LaserX and you click on that login button, it's going to ask you for your email. This would be the email that you used when you first signed up for the software. And once you place your email in there, it's going to ask you for a password. And this, again, is going to be the password that you had originally set up when you first claimed your LaserX license.
Right. And Sam, I'd like to add on there, if you haven't signed up, let's say you didn't go through our website to purchase a license or subscribe, you can actually do your monthly subscription here. So if you if your email address has not been registered yet with any account, you can log on here and create your email address, and then it will take you through the process of subscribing for a monthly subscription. So that's the $12.99 subscription here. So you won't even have to go to the website, and you don't even have to have an account. If this is your first time, you just log in here and create the account yourself. Would that be correct, Sam?
Yeah, that would be correct. You can, if you don't have the app at all and you just want to do a monthly, which is a lot of times what I'll recommend people, especially if you're an instructor and say you already have Laser Classic and like using that with your students, but you do like some of the features that are available in Laser X and you want to try that out for a month in your class. I tell a lot of instructors, well, then just try it for a month and see if that suits your needs, and then we'll move from there. Um,
Yeah,
but that
and I
would
think what do we have? But when they call in, you usually tell folks, is there like a money back guarantee? And I think it's we tell customers there's a 30-day money back guarantee. We don't hassle you, no questions asked. I think that's on hardware and software. Is that correct, Sam? Both on
that,
both sides of the house.
mhm, that is correct. Uh-huh.
Okay. All right, good deal. So hopefully that answers the first question about how do I log in to access the app, and that's really for Laser X. So the next question I think is what's the difference? That's probably a good tie-in. What's the difference between Laser Classic and Laser X? And I'll pull up something on the screen here if you want to give them a quick overview of what you usually tell customers on the bridge as well, Sam.
Sure. Okay. So the main difference between Laser Classic and Laser X, I guess I always kind of start with explaining it like this. Generally speaking, Laser Classic and Laser X will provide the same general training value. You can practice your general basics, your grip, side alignment, stance, trigger squeeze. The software, either version will handle those, and so you get the same training value in general. When you start moving out to the peripherals, that's when there's a big difference. But the main big differences I'll point out here are that Laser Classic is Windows only, and it will download to your computer. So you once you've downloaded the software and registered it, you can use it offline. And Laser X is, again, like I said earlier, it's our web-based platform, so it will work off of any operating system and is not going to be subject to being confined to only Windows.
There you go. And just to help folks out, Sam, the stuff Sam's explaining between Laser X and Laser Classic, there's actually a couple of videos that are out there that talk about the difference between the two. But on the website, if you go to, and Sam, you can probably see this, correct?
Mm-hmm.
If you go to our website and under the solutions menu and actually hit compare, it will give you the main bullet points as to the differences between the two platforms. And if you have any questions, even after reading this, because I know you just always want to make sure that you're getting the right platform or that you have everything that you need for your use case, feel free to give us a call because that's one of the biggest things we like is when we actually get to talk to customers and answer their questions because we also learn from you guys when it comes to how you're using it out in the field or improvements or changes in the application that's working for you or not working for you. So that's one of the things here. And again, that's all on our homepage. You go to laserapp.com and under the menu here, it shows solutions and then compare. And you can see the main differences between the two platforms. All right. Oh, look, Kathy's throwing up the next question. She's asking, or the customers are asking, will Laser Classic work on a Mac/OS platform? What's your say on that, Sam?
So this is kind of a no asterisk. Um,
That's a quick one.
so Laser Classic is designed around the Windows operating system. So by and large, we just say you need a Windows computer to run it. However, comma, you can run it on your Mac computer, but you would need to run a parallel system like Boot Camp. Um, and what that could mean is that you could incur additional costs on things like if you go to run Boot Camp, more than likely you're going to have to purchase a Windows license in order to run Windows through Boot Camp. So there will be a couple additional costs there, but you can run Classic on a Mac. That being said, you cannot do it on iPads or mobile Apple devices. So by and large, no, I would not recommend it most of the time.
Good. And just to share with you also, I'm going to pull up something on the screen. I'm the guy who likes to whip things up on the screen here. If we go to this window here on our home page, there's actually a short video here talking about Laser Classic versus Laser X. And I don't want to say it's versus because they're both good applications. They both serve different purposes at times. Some of them have overlap. But if you have any questions as to what we would recommend, or Sam or I or Kath, anyone who answers the phone would recommend Laser X or Laser Classic for your use case, it'll be probably answered under here on the 7-minute video, and you can fast forward through different sections. But it gives you the typical answers or the essential answers that Sam or I would give to you if you called us on the phone and asked us about the application. All right. How about the next one we got here? We're moving through here. Do I need to buy special targets? And I'm assuming, Sam, by asking that question, it applies to both on the answer. And I'm gonna take a swagger at this one just to see if I'm doing it correct or answer it
Mhm.
correctly. And you tell me and pull me aside if I'm off here. Special targets? No. Actually, you can use as many targets and any targets that you want. You can use the standard dry fire light switch that's on the wall that we use. Everyone seemed to have started off with, or a silhouette that's on the wall. In fact, I think with Laser X, the application will automatically try to identify shapes on your wall, like pictures that are common shapes for you to use as a target that it assumes that's what you're aiming at or you're going to be shooting at. But the answer would be you can use anything from a cardboard IPSC or IDPA target to a soda can that's on the wall to pictures on the wall to actually posters. Would that be correct?
Yeah, yeah. So our software is non-proprietary, meaning you don't have to have special targets. And then based on what targets you use, a lot of that would be subjectivity of your environment. Um, when it comes to things like, well, can I use this picture? Well, that picture's got glass on it, so if you've got some light in that room, that glass is probably going to reflect some light, so it may not perform as well. Um, and then when it comes to, either version of the software will hold up to 20 different target zones. So you might have 10 targets with a target zone and a backdrop on each, or things like that. But yeah, you're right. You can light switches, scuffs. I've definitely done a scuff on a wall. Um,
And
so
Sam, I think from time to time we'll get customers telling us, at least I've heard it when I first answered the phone and got brave enough to do that. Folks are asking, can I use, I think they say your competitors' targets. Actually, I mean, I know there's folks out there that do DryFire as well and other software applications, but we're all in the business of training firearms owners and gun owners. So in a
mhm.
sense, we don't always look at it from a competition standpoint or competitor standpoint. But their products, their targets, I think Laser Ammo, who's one of our partners or resellers of our product, they have
Mhm.
targets that folks use successfully. I think the biggest catch is we don't want, or you can't, or you would discourage people from using targets that are reflective, that would reflect light or create a hot spot. Would that be a fair thing to say?
Yeah, yeah. You would definitely, and this might go without saying, but our statics required, our our targets are required to be static. So trying to use things like a video on a projector, um, or a target that spins or moves or anything like that, that's not going to play nice. The other thing I would caution people with in regards is it avoiding extreme colors. So if you look at this flag I got on the wall, you want to avoid massive contrasts. Um, a lot of times, what we see is that white will reflect a lot of light, so you can get hot spots on white portions of your target. And then the thing about using very, very dark colors is that sometimes it will absorb laser light. So it will absorb enough to where the software goes, that's not enough for me to register a hit, so I will not acknowledge it. So I usually direct people towards more of matte, um, subdued colors.
Usually along the shade or hue of what cardboard targets would look like, or a neutral gray type of target.
Yes, yes, that's my favorite things. If given the choice and someone says, "Sam, no holds bar, go set something up," I'm going to run to cardboard targets all day long. That doesn't mean that you're confined to that, but I just know for speed, ease of use, and not having to mess with my lighting very much, cardboard's going to be the best route.
Okay. And again, these answers that you're giving or that we're throwing out here are both for Laser X or Laser Classic. If something's specific to one of the versions or another, we'll make sure to let people know what that is, or we'll let them know that it's specifically for Laser X or Laser Classic. Hey,
Right. Yeah.
here's one I think Kathy pulled the trigger on the next one. Producer Kathy says, "How far can my camera be away from the target?" You want to give that one, Sam? I think you've had that question quite a few times,
Yeah.
whether in shows or on the phone.
Sure. Yeah. So when we're talking, this is where we might have to divvy up specifically what we're talking about. If you are using a dedicated USB webcam, generally speaking, you can get 15, 20 feet distance in between camera to target. And you probably won't have much of an issue. Again, subjective to the environment that you're in. But by and large, it's pretty easy to get 15 feet, no problem. Um, when you use now Laser X, which works on mobile platforms and mobile devices, when it's an integrated camera, like on my cell phone, like the integrated camera, we recommend that those be 5 to 7 feet from the target, just because that we've found that once you go beyond that 7 foot mark, a lot of times those cameras have a harder time with the software being able to utilize that camera to see a hit efficiently.
Okay. Now, Sam, would you say there's a difference between how close the camera needs to be to the target versus how close the shooter or the student or whoever it is using the laser itself has to be from the target? Would you delineate a difference between those two?
Yes, a lot of times the question will get formulated. While we do get that, how far can the camera, and they do get specific about camera alone. If a lot of times they'll be like, well, how far can you be? Um, we will say that when talking about distances, there's always two different types of distance. We talk about camera to target, which we already discussed, and then shooter to target. Shooter to target, your world kind of opens up there. And then you're limited to the range of the laser. So if you have a laser device that maybe that laser's not super strong, you're not going to be able to get back as far, just because by the time that that hits that target, it's just not bright enough to register software. By and large, when people are using very popular things like SIRT pistols,
Like one of these babies?
yeah,
Okay.
those lasers are really strong, and even at like SHOT Show, I can shoot that at the wall that's 150 feet away, and you can see it. I mean, no issues whatsoever. So by and large, you're not going to be able to outshoot um, the laser. Is what I tell people. I said you generally are not going to have enough room indoors to do that. Just don't get in front of your camera. And you can move as much as you want to.
For one of these guys, Sam, a laser cartridge, whether it's I think laser ammo or one of these generic ones,
Sure.
laser ammo has higher quality ones. They're more of a silver, more hardened case. Is it the same requirement? You want to stay a certain amount of distance, or can you really shoot as far as you could, or shoot from as far back as you would with a SIRT pistol? Have you noticed anything?
I wouldn't be bold enough to say that a cartridge is going to go as far as the SIRT.
Okay.
Just because there's a noticeable difference between laser intensity between the two. But again, that comes into the subjectivity realm of what's their environment look like.
So your take would be your mileage is going to vary based on the source of your laser.
Yeah, I mean,
infrared is going to be a lot more difficult than a visible laser, a green or red laser, you'd say.
What? Say that one again.
If you were to shoot with an infrared laser versus a visible laser, would you say you have to be closer to the target with an infrared versus a bright green or bright red visible laser?
To be honest with you, I wouldn't really. I would treat them both the same. In regards to if it's an insert, is just going. It's going to be kind of. You're going to have to trial and error it, because I can test it out and I might get 20 feet in my office, but I can take it to my house and that lighting is way different and the windows are in different spots, and
Good point. Good point. It's going to be like you said. It depends on your lighting. Oh, looks like she's leading us. Producer Kathy leading us down the path to, can I use it outside, Sam? That's a popular question that we get a lot of times. What say you on that one?
So the politically correct answer would be,
we're not politically correct. Come on, the Second Amendment people. According to the milieu today, we're not politically correct. So you can let it fly.
That's true. Can I use it outside? The official answer is that is not a supported use.
I've heard that one. Yeah, I've heard that.
So it means you can try it. That's not to say people haven't got it to work with some work and effort. But if you call me going, hey, Sam, I'm out in my backyard shooting at my privacy fence and it's not working, I'm going to go, yep. It was never designed to do that. So if you can get it to work outside, kudos. But that's going to be really hard because you have clouds moving in front of the sun, tree branches. I mean, all sorts of stuff that's going to affect that lighting. And so more times than not, you'll just get frustrated because it was never designed to do that.
And I want to put it out there. What Sam's pointing out is your mileage will vary because part of the surprise we get when we pick up the phone, and it sometimes is a surprise, is the use cases that a lot of the instructors or a lot of the students or customers are using Laser X or Laser Classic for. I mean, we've heard people successfully use laser indoors and outdoors, and that's when we usually ask the question, "How are you doing it?" or tell us how how you've constructed your firing environment, because we always learn something new. So
Mhm.
if you're doing this outdoors, let us know. We'd love to hear it, because these are use cases that we're learning from as well. And it's always great to see how the application is being used and pushed to its limits.
Sure, and those are things we do. Like if I have a customer that says, "Hey Sam, I've got it to work doing this," um, those are things that we can then turn to a customer that asks and say, "Hey, listen, we aren't going to support in trying to get it to work doing this, but we have had customers that have done X, Y, and Z and got it to work for them. That's not a guarantee that it's going to work for you, but if you're really adamant about trying to do that, that's
Gotcha.
what we've kind of seen some people
Very good.
do."
So the next question is coming up, and I think these are pretty popular ones. We do get these a lot.
Yep.
Can I practice movement? And I take it that's not movement of the target, but movement of you as the shooter or the trainer or the person practicing. What would you say with practicing movement there, Sam?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the great things about our software is as long as you ain't kicking that camera over or getting in front of it, um, you know, you can move all over the place. And then if you wanted to get even more crazy, Laser X has a feature called networking. So say, you standard license, and this ties into the next question that came up. What does networking mean? Um, Networking is when you purchase a Laser X license, by and large, you will be purchasing a license that has access on one device at a time. That means that you can switch those devices. You could go from your phone to an iPad in a matter of seconds, and it's okay. But when you sign in on a new one, it's going to sign you out of the old one.
Right.
When you buy, say, either a instructor package or something of that nature, or you upgrade your device limit, which is available inside the application itself, you can set up in different areas. You could set your phone in one room looking at its own set of targets, and then you could set up your iPad looking at the front door of your house, looking at its own set of targets. And then you turn on a feature called networking, which basically allows those two devices to talk to each other and share that information. So you can go clear the front door and then run back to the bedroom and clear all the targets in the bedroom, and then those two devices will share um, the information. It will send the pictures of those shots, and it will lay those shot times into the timesheet in the order that they occurred. And
Right.
so, no matter what room you end in, you can do your after action review and review your entire string of fire from one device rather than individually going to each device to try to figure out where those shots landed.
Right. And that's what's interesting. In a lot of the shows, we don't have the room. We have a 10 by 10, I guess, booth that we're showing. Maybe we're
Mhm.
lucky we're 10 by 20, but networking is one of the big things that a lot of folks have heard about, but they don't, it's hard to visualize. Here's a picture of producer Kathy's daughter coming down here, actually, our daughter, coming down. We had a camera upstairs, a system upstairs, and she's coming down into like a dining area, living room area, where she actually has one, two. There's a third target that's on the inside wall here you don't see, but she's actually moving around, engaging the different targets. And this one computer is hooked up to a camera. So we were geeking out last night playing with the application, a 360 camera. So this Laser X application is running on the computer here and one upstairs, and you can actually watch from either device the progress that Sophia was making as she's going through the house, clearing some
Mhm.
targets in the room. And this is her. She's trying to kind of pie the doorway or pie the entryway so she's not exposed. She doesn't know there's another target on the inside wall, but we were working on moving through the house using networking. So that's the way you can actually do it. It's one of the standout things that Laser X has, that you can do it. Can you do this with Laser Classic? You can't do networking where you're connecting multiple platforms because Laser Classic is not run on the internet, but you can use something like a 360 camera. And we have some law enforcement trainers who are using 360 devices to engage targets on different walls or different surfaces. So they're actually getting some movement or situational awareness as they're coming into a room, making sure they're looking and making sure there's no targets hidden or people hidden in certain areas where they're not seeing when they first come into the room. So that's it's a way. I mean, people ask us, what is networking? It's really more of the dynamic movement, and it
Mm-hmm.
allows you to go into different rooms, move throughout your house. Or, Sam, I think one of the first calls I took, and I've shared this before, is a church called us up and said they were looking at training their certain people who are part of their response team in the church. Can they do it with LASR? And absolutely. They were able to
Mm-hmm.
train in the foyer, into the worship center, and into the different rooms of the church, so that if they needed to, I'll say their ushers or their deacons needed to usher people around or usher them out of danger, they actually are able to feel how it is moving with obstacles, furniture, in the environment and doorways of their actual church. So that's what networking does. If you have more questions about that, don't hesitate to give us a call. It's something that is sometimes difficult to show in SHOT Show or USCCA or LASR, or an NRA, but we're definitely happy to show you online or talk to you about it. We'll probably
Mm-hmm.
showcase more of that going forward. That's one of the
Sure.
things we really want to get to. Ah, ooh, looks like we're already getting the hook here. So, producer Kathy's saying, thank you for joining us today. And again, guys, this is the first time we're doing this. We wanted to address a lot of the common questions that we get. We'll probably do this a few more times, hitting the same questions, because people will come through every week, different questions coming in from customer support. But if you have any specific questions or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to us. In fact, I don't know if Kathy's going to be able to put it up on the screen. Our website is laserapp.com. It's LASRAPP.com. And you can also reach out to us via email at support@laserapp.com, or give us a call at the office. It's 402-965-1778. But you'll be able to find that information on the website there. And Sam, did you want to mention something or throw anything in there?
No. Huh.
Oh, okay. Well, that's it, guys. It's the weekend. Hope you have a good and safe weekend, and get some time to go out to the range or even DryFire in your house. But again, give us a call. We're LASR. We have LASR Classic and LASR X. Those are our two software products. You've probably seen them out on the market or seen them from instructors working with our application. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a holler. And until then, train safe, train smart, and what's the other one, Sam?
Train often.
Train often. We'll see you next week. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.